We got the blind leading the blind here.
I think we're here-ish. What about you?
Yeah, we're somewhere within a square inch of that.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike here with my next orienteering video. This time it's the 45th running of the Billygoat race, and this was organized by Delaware Valley Orienteering Association in Pennsylvania at the Merlin Sarnowski Park. Now this is a pretty unusual kind of event. It's a little different. There's a long course called the Billygoat and there's a shorter course called the Kidgoat. And the Kidgoat itself is about twice as long as the course I normally do, so that's the one I did. Here's a map with my course on it, and you can immediately see that there are some unusual features. You are allowed to skip a control, and there are in this map there were also 2 control number 3s, so you get to choose which one to go to. And there are also a couple of controls which are like dog legs, where you can sort of see people coming out of the control as you're going into it. Now this is also a mass start event. The Billygoat and the Kidgoat started at the same time. In fact, this Kidgoat course was the first part of the Billygoat course, apart from about the last 3 controls. I thought maybe I would skip control 13, maybe I would skip control 15, and I wanted to take a closer look at this area here, where there's not only potential of skipping a control, but there's also the route choice between which number 3 do you go to. And so here we are in more detail so you can see what's going on. And my decision was that I really didn't like this control number 5, in that it looked like it was in a very technical area. And although there is a trail there, it's pretty small. It kind of peters out, and no knowing whether you could actually use that. So what I decided to do was to skip that control in conjunction with going to the northern route number 3, which meant that I would skip control 5 and I would skip the southern control 3. So I'd be going from 1 to 2 up to 3 there, 4, and then along to control number 6. So let's see what happened. Okay, and we're off. Started the Billygoat and the Kidgoat. Everybody going to the same first control, unless they decided to skip it, which I don't think anybody did. And let's take a look at this first leg here. Now, most people went up and over some portion of the hill. A very small number decided to go around. Here's a heat map from the Billygoat, and the Kidgoat runners were pretty similar as well. I decided to go around the lake. Didn't make that decision to go all the way around the lake until I was halfway around, when I found myself running on my own. And my thinking was to go around this trail because I'd have virtually no climbing at all until I got near the control. I'd have a pretty good attack point for the control, because I was a bit concerned about a lack of a good attack point if I came more or less straight into the control along a straight line. And I'd also be able to see runners who were exiting the control. So that was my thinking, and let's see how it goes. We'll skip over some of this because it's basically just plain straightforward running. Okay, here's a little parking spot, and I can see everybody going up the hill. And this is where I start to think for sure that, no, I don't want to do that. It's too much climbing. Not sure of the attack point. The trail carries on, so I duck off to the left. And from this point on, I don't see anybody until I'm getting near the control. There were a couple of other people, maybe 3 others, who went this way, I think they were further ahead of me, that's why I never saw them. So let's just go around the lake here. If nothing else, it was a very pretty trail to go along. I was going to cut the corners to get up to the trail, but I kind of misjudged it a little bit. Went a little bit further than I was expecting to, and actually ended up all the way in the trail junction here. So, come on mate, keep moving. You're supposed to be running along this trail now. And just go up a little bit, and then I should be taking a left to make sure I get on the trail that I want to get onto. We should just be coming up here. I wasn't sure how clear the trail would be marked, but wasn't too bad. It was pretty nice running. In fact, I was going to end up using this a little bit later on. So it's very straightforward running along here, and the attack point was going to be really obvious because the trail was going to do a sharp U-turn. So I meant I could sort of look ahead as well and think about what I wanted to do. Alright, so here's the vegetation boundary that I'm approaching. And I know that I'm going to be coming to the corner when I need to head off in the direction of the control using my compass. And here's the trail turning around, and here I am going off. Now, I used to do relay races back in the 1980s when I was orienteering in the UK, and I ended up becoming a bit of a specialist first leg runner, in part because I was able to ignore the herd, ignore where everybody was going, and just focus on what I thought was the best way to go. And you can see that on this race, I chose a route that most of the people didn't choose. Was it the best one? I think so. It was longer for sure in distance, but it certainly had its advantages. In fact, my best run was I came fourth after the first leg in the British Relay Championships one year for my club. And so here we are, we're going up the hill, trying to use the green to help with the navigation. I'm not really on the best route at the moment in terms of the compass. But I'm hoping that at this point I should be starting to see the faster runners coming out of the control, coming down the hill, and I can just follow them back into the control. So let's see how well this thinking works. Don't see anybody here at the moment. And this is my slog going up the hill. It was inevitable that you had to do some climbing at some point on this leg. There's a bunch of runners just off to the left coming down. So I kind of mentally traced their route back up the hill and used that to help with my direction. Again, you can see more runners coming down. So I just need to keep slogging up to where they came from, because it's pretty clear that they've all reached the control already, because I didn't think I was far enough up anyway, but they're all moving very confidently rather than wandering around looking for the control. So I know the control is just up here somewhere. And there it is. Mission accomplished on the first leg. Second leg is basically just go down the hill, follow people down. Shouldn't be too hard to find this control. Alright, there's a small boulder here, but it's actually too small, it's not even mapped. You just have to keep going on down the hill. Okay, just work your way through the green. Slowly, and there is the control ahead. So we're going to do drinks control. I actually had a small runner's bag with a water bottle in the back of it that I could suck on through a plastic straw, which I found very useful. So going from 2 to 3, I decided to try and pick up that trail that I'd gone along on the way to the first control. Most people went more or less straight sort of along the hillside down and down into the valley below. Problem was I veered off downhill too much rather than heading in the correct direction, and that meant that I ended up picking up the trail as it did it, zigzagging lower down than I was expecting. So let's just get on to that part of it. Alright, here we are, and crossing paths with this lady. I will actually end up at control 2 at pretty much exactly the same time as her.
Mike.
Mike, I'm Patty.
Hey, Patty. So I went away number 1, nobody else went. I came along this way.
Okay. Well, I might have said I came along this way, but in fact I didn't, because I wasn't this far down.
I think.
So the trail wasn't supposed to end, it was supposed to carry on going. So I realized that I was lower down, and for better or for worse, I decided to go up to the trail. Maybe this was an unnecessary climb. Now I realize I'm even lower than I thought. But I'm still thinking that that trail was so runnable that it would be easier to move along than if you look towards the latter part of this leg. There's some pretty rough forest and looking forest, greenish, and a lot of rocks. If you take a straighter route. So here I am, finally getting back on the trail. And I kind of was wondering, was it worth all that climbing just to get back onto this nice trail? I'm not sure it was. Okay, at least I am moving moderately quickly for me these days at the moment. And then the question is, when do I leave this trail? Do I cut down the hill? I got a feeling that I should have cut down the hill here, because there is some white woodlands if I cut off at this point, and I should be able to follow the contours into the control, but still even half thinking about that. Indecision. But what I actually decided to do is go all the way around the trail to the top, which I think was a bad route choice. Here we are, back near the lake. And the reason I think this was a bad route choice was because there was just too much extra distance involved. Get a nice view there. So we're going to go around here. It was a nice day. It was a beautiful day for being out in the woods. go around the trail and take off to the right. And then look at the corner of the trail, or the bend in the trail, to attack the control and go into it. Let's just speed this up a little bit. If only I could run this fast. I was watching an orienteering video of an elite orienteer yesterday, and he was going at this kind of speed. I used to. I wasn't an elite orienteer, but I was pretty good, and I could certainly go this fast at this point. So, here we are approaching the control. And there is Harry.
Well, now I know which way was shorter.
Okay, now going to number 4, it's a case of trying to navigate fairly carefully, just deciding whether to follow the trail round to the right or go straight. I decided to go straight-ish as best I could. Alright, so here we are approaching the edge of this cliff area, and then I'm just going to go through the green, get onto the trail, and then go and a couple around corners of the trail, cut across the next trail. That's the plan. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, here we are, just getting out to the trail. Making sure I'm on the right trail, that there is only one trail there. Just trying to sort of figure out what I'm going to do in detail, because I haven't really thought the whole thing through completely. But I do want to go around the trail. I considered going straight, but I guess the trail was a little bit more inviting, so I took that. Come around the corner here. Then get up to the next corner. Just slowing down because I think I wanted to make sure I knew what was coming up ahead of me when I cut through the woods here. So there's the little sort of hill that you can see. And there should be another trail just beyond it. I guess that's a competitor in front of me looking for it as well. Not quite as obvious. They were kind of small trails, and you know, I'm pretty much in the right sort of area. I should just keep going. But you do want to be careful with your navigation. If you get messed up in this part of the woods, it could be a little while to relocate because there aren't any major features to go and sort out to navigate back on. But found the trail all as well. Gonna carry on the trail. See how small the trail is, but it is visible enough. Gonna carry on it to this corner coming up, and then I guess I was going to go straight and take a compass bearing, which is a little bit risky because it is kind of I mean, there'll be a trail that I'll cross over, and I guess I could look for that corner or the trail junction and use that as my attack point. But I'm looking for a shallow reentrant for the control. It's not necessarily going to be that easy finding it. You can see I'm not with a lot of people here. A lot of people have gotten ahead of me. Should just be coming out to this next trail, if we can see it. Looks like this is it. I'm thinking I'm on the corner. You can just about make out a shallow to the left, the shallow spur. I'm going down there. Down this little shallow valley. And that person who is coming up here, now they look like they're moving confidently, like they've come up from the control. So that's a pretty good indication that we are going in the right sort of direction. There's more people coming up out of it. The ones going off to my right here are obviously going from 4 to 5. That looks like a little sort of re-entrant off to the right there. So the control should just be in here. Why can't I see it? Oh, there it is. Because I'm slightly red-green colorblind, sometimes makes it difficult for me to see the controls. So, there we go, number 4. Alright, now 4 to 6. Remember, I'm skipping control 5. It's going to be a long contour along this hillside. Well, what do you think, what would you do in this situation? I'm going to contour along the hillside and assume that I can figure out where I am as I get into this heavily contoured and bouldery area. See a trail in that area, and I'm kind of hoping that I can relocate on that, make sure I know exactly where I am and use that as an attack point for the control. So here we are going across the hillside, so let's just skip ahead a bit. Alright, so I'm approaching these boulders. I've done a pretty good job of staying on the line. I wasn't exactly sure which boulders were which. Didn't really matter. I was still relying on my ability to relocate when I get into that steep valley.
Hell of a thing.
You're headed to 4 or 5?
6. You want 4? You want 4? Are you looking for 4? Are you looking for 4? 200 meters that way.
Yeah, just giving a fellow competitor a little bit of help. You're absolutely allowed to do that in a Billygoat race. That's perfectly allowed, and it was quite a ways away. I'm not sure my 200 meter estimate was correct. I think it was roughly right. So we're going to cross the boulder area here, and I know I'm near this trail that I'm about to cross. So let's just speed this up so you can see as I'm approaching this steeper area. Alright, here's the trail. Take a quick look. Don't know why it stopped. I mean, I just got to go straight across it. And you'll start to see, as I get into the area where I'm starting to go downhill, we can see the valley shaping up in front of us. All right, back to my slow trudging. If I look up, you get a little bit of a better view. Probably bent over a bit. Oh, there's pretty rocks on the ground. Doesn't help you much. There we go. Now you can see the shape. I'm going to get up to those rocks there. And there we go. And I'm going to be looking for this trail just after these rocks. I can catch my breath. A little bit of climbing. I used to do live commentary as I was going around the course. I tended to do after the event commentary, partly because I find it a little bit too tiring to talk while I'm moving these days. Should be able to pick up this trail soon, if it's something that we can see. So, what's going on here? Just trying to make sure I don't get too far off course by going the wrong way. Now, if you look at the shape of the land here ahead, you can see there's a gradual rise to the left, and that's sort of that spur. And I think I figured out that that is where I am, and I need to go just over it, and then the boulder should be on the other side and down the hill a bit. And there's some other people coming down towards it. So, who's going to find it first, and then how are they going to tell the others? Trying to figure out which boulder's which.
Oh, did I miss 6?
I don't think so. I travel 4 after all. I skip 4, right?
We're just trying to help each other here, because nobody's quite sure. So what's going to give it away? What's going to make me go the right way? Or am I just going to get lucky? It's got to be around here somewhere. I know I'm in the right area.
I think so. I see it.
And there it is. And we're all going to converge in on it. That's what happens in a Billygoat.
Yeah, this is 6.
So 6 to 7 is a bit of a slog up this hill.
I see it, right?
Just want to go in the right sort of direction. There are some boulders and cliffs along the way. It should help in the navigation. And with so many people, I'm assuming that, well, I'm kind of guessing that we're going to find it without too much difficulty. Just keep slugging up this hill. And there we go. It's a drinks control, so there are people just hanging out there, just getting a drink. Now the next control, when we get into this, is pretty demanding technically. And you're going to have to figure out what you want to do. All right, let's take a look at this. So, pretty difficult. You could go off some trails to the left and sort of contour along a bit. My thought was to go more or less straight and see if I could make my navigation work via the trails that I was crossing. Some of them have some lines going straight in the right sort of direction, and the cliffs. Although I ended up going roughly right, there are a lot of times when I wasn't sure where I was, and we'll see what's going on because it didn't work out too well. Meant for a very slow leg. Alright, so we're going off up the hill. People are off to my left. You can't see them because the map section's covering it. And in fact, I ended up getting dragged too far to the left, as we'll see a bit later on. This is rather slow going uphill, so we're going to speed it up, but I'm going to show the whole of the leg so you can see what happens to my direction. Alright, so I'm hoping to find this sort of rock features here, and oh look, there it looks like it's there on the left, and then this trail, but as I go a little bit further up the hill, I do get a little bit disoriented, and I'm not quite sure which direction I'm going, and as you can see I'm still going to the left, which is kind of okay because it avoids some of the climb. On the other hand, it means I'm not going to hit that trail that I was looking at the top of the hill. So I know I should be crossing a trail at some point soon. And I was going further right than the majority of people who were near me at the time. So I'm on the trail here. I'm not sure where I am on it. There is a corner here, but I don't think I spot it. So what happens is I do actually see this trail. Now I know what's happened. I am on this corner of the trail, but I thought I was about a good 50 meters to the right, so I really didn't know where I was. Even though looking at the route now, it's really obvious where I was. I was way further left than I thought I was going to be. And that trend continued. I'm actually going to cut it here and get to a more interesting part, because this just carries on me going, knowing that I'm generally going in the correct direction, but thinking I might be a bit too far left. Not sure exactly where I am, so it's not going well at this point. You can see some people coming from the left, and we have a sort of interesting conversation, speculation as to where he might be. So I'll just play this out, let you listen. I have no idea where I am.
We got the blind leading the blind here.
I think we're here-ish. What about you?
Yeah, we're somewhere within a square inch of that.
Yeah.
I think you guys were definitely going too far south, but I don't know what the correct line is.
That blue trail, that probably goes around that little bob.
Oh, barbed wire, barbed wire.
Oh, thank you. You good?
Yep.
You hit our barbed wire? What? Barbed wire. Oh, it's good. How the hell is the barbed wire? That used to be a farm. Yeah. Let's get that pole. This is... Yeah, alright.
So in 100 meters or so, the one saving grace on this leg is that it is a dog leg, and you'll be able to see somebody coming out of the control area and sort of backtrack home into the control eventually. Definitely not my finest moment.
Alright, check out those people coming away from it.
So those people were of some help that were coming away, but I didn't realize how far away from the control we still were. I thought we were a little bit closer, because I completely lost track of which of these line of small cliffs we were at.
Oh, it's going to be over there.
There you can just see somebody crossing over from left to right. Now they're gone. There's another person going. They were off on the right of the screen. So having seen those people, I'm pretty confident now that I'm going in generally the right way. Haven't overshot the control. And hopefully we'll get to it sooner rather than later, although I still don't know exactly where I am. So yeah, I was hoping to use that trail that's just to the right of me as my way into the control, or at least as my attack point, but I never found it. Just wandering in the woods. And my battery died. But that's the way it goes. I knew it wasn't going to last the whole race. I did end up coming across the control without too much more difficulty. There were some people around there. And we went into it. So rest of this course we'll just do by just looking at the live logs route of what I did. So we're finally getting into the control. I'm going to start speeding things up. So I was going to take the trail left of here, but I jumped on this one because it was very inviting. And it looked like we'd get good attack control. Leave the trail here, pick up the next trail, which I think I got, but I don't know why I messed up here. It was way too far to the right. I think I was mistaken by those rocky areas on the right there. I don't know what happened. Not very good. Then to the next one, basically it goes straight. Now, I did this perfectly, ended up to the control. You could actually see the bleep go where I went past the control there, but I didn't actually know I'd been at the control, and I went past it, saw Wendy, she mentioned the marsh, realized it was too far, and came back. Next control was just straight, so that wasn't much of a problem. And then going to this one, I got a bit too low. I did notice crossing the trail, I noticed the stream junction there, I knew I had to climb the hill, so I did that. and got to the control in the end, but I did lose some time on that. Now I was looking for this boulder that's about here, never saw it, don't know why I didn't see it, was a bit annoyed, couldn't find the trail. I did see the wall, realized I was a bit too low, did get up and did eventually get onto the trail, even though the route, the red arrow, is not showing that I'm actually on the trail, but I was on it there. Just straight across the road. You can navigate in through the wall, and the trails here were pretty easy to follow, so that was all fine. Next one basically goes straight. You're going to end up at the open area. Well, I almost went straight. End up at the open area, around the roads, and then straight to the control. This next control I almost missed because I almost went straight to the one after it, then saw someone going in and realized, oh, I need to get this control, so I did. Then you just go around the trail. I suppose you could go either side of this marsh, but went to the left, through the woods, and then just a straight shot into the finish and we're done. Here's my results. Nothing spectacular, just reflective of a slow, steady course with a few mistakes in it. Thanks to DVOA for putting the event on, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.